the Bills offense. He rushed for 1,000 yards and had 16 touchdowns this past season. The Bills didn't draft a running back in this class, and that's a lot of production to really replace. So do you think for Cook, he may be on his way out of Buffalo, or do you expect them to get a deal done?
Yeah, I think if we're talking about all of these players, which one is the most likely to leave his organization? To me, it's probably James Cook. I don't know if the Buffalo Bills are going to get up to a number that he wants. He seems to be wanting a pretty lofty number. I think it was like $20 million per season that he referenced earlier this offseason. I don't know if the Buffalo Bills go that route, because we've seen them make it a priority. The kind of theme of the Buffalo Bills offseason so far has been retaining their players. Khalil Shakir, Gregory Rousseau, Christian Benford. They've made it a point to lock up their core, and one of those guys they haven't locked up is James Cook. So do they view him as a part of their core? And as productive as he's been, franchise single season record in touchdowns, really impressive player and a huge piece of their running game to pair with Josh Allen, specifically in the red zone. It's no shade towards him. He's an unbelievable player. I don't know if they're going to extend themselves to the point that he's going to feel comfortable. If he's willing to come down from his number to get some more long-term security, then fine, they'll sign him to a deal. I don't know if he's going to look to break the Buffalo Bills are going to look to break the bank and meet him at his number.
All right,
it's happening again. Just when the Buffalo Bills seem to have built one of the most intimidating defensive fronts in the entire NFL, a new storm is brewing inside one Bills drive, and it could shake up the depth chart. While the team continues to aim for its long-awaited Super Bowl breakthrough, there's an unexpected twist. One key defender might be on the trading block, even before Week 1. And on the other side of the ball, a second-year wide receiver is ready to explode, physically transformed and more focused than ever. What's going on in Buffalo? Let's break it all down. The Buffalo Bills had one clear mission this offseason: reload the defensive line with fresh, impactful talent. After moving on from Von Miller, they didn't waste any time. They went all in on Joey Bosa in free agency, adding a veteran powerhouse to anchor the edge. In the NFL draft, they doubled down, selecting two dominant defensive tackles, TJ Sanders and Deone Walker, and a dynamic defensive end in Landon Jackson. This injection of youth and size has completely redefined Buffalo's defensive front. But with great additions come tough decisions. According to Bleacher Report's Gary Davenport, A.J. Epinesa, once a promising second-round pick in 2020, is now seen as a potential trade candidate. Entering his 6th NFL season, Epinesa has recorded 21.5 sacks, with at least 6 in each of the past 3 years. Solid production, no doubt. However, he's never posted more than 7 sacks, or topped 20 tackles in a single season. And with Bosa in town and Jackson pushing for snaps, Epinesa may find himself slipping down the depth chart, unless Bosa's recent injury lingers longer than expected. Davenport argues it might be the right time for Buffalo to explore Epinesa's trade value, especially for a team that's seeking pass-rushing help. While he's not a Pro Bowl name, Epinesa's reliability could bring real value elsewhere, and the Bills might use that return to solidify other key areas. Still, there's a caveat. None of this matters unless Bosa stays healthy and dominates from day one. A gamble, perhaps, but it's one that the Bills might consider as they chase a long overdue trip to the Super Bowl. Speaking of the Super Bowl, let's talk about the weight on Josh Allen's shoulders. The Bills are again favorites to win the AFC East, and Allen, coming off an MVP season, is expected to lead this team deep into the playoffs. But expectations are a double-edged sword. Bleacher Report's Brad Gagnon recently analyzed the biggest obstacle each starting quarterback faces entering the 2025 season. For Allen, it's not skill, toughness, or leadership. It's the pressure of expectations. He's the reigning MVP. The team is stacked. Anything less than a Super Bowl appearance will trigger serious criticism. And as head coach Sean McDermott puts it, you can either walk through the door each morning chasing success or fearing failure. The Bills are choosing the first path. Allen has been electric in the postseason, even in defeat. But Buffalo has come up short in other areas. Clock management, execution, key defensive lapses. Allen, despite his excellence, can't do it alone. That's why the front office and coaching staff are reinforcing every unit around him, from defense to wide receivers, and that's where the next piece of big news enters: Keon Coleman. The second-year wide receiver is turning heads and raising eyebrows during OTAs. With the departure of Mac Hollins, Coleman is in line to become Buffalo's ex-receiver, and he's making the most of it. Last season, Coleman flashed brilliance early, registering 396 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first 8 games. But a wrist injury in Week 9 slowed his momentum. He missed 4 games, returned, and never quite regained his form. He finished with 556 yards and 4 touchdowns. Respect Respectable, but not game-changing. Now, he looks like a different athlete. Coleman has reportedly added over 10 pounds of lean muscle, filling out his already imposing 6'4" frame. His cuts are sharper, his acceleration is quicker, and his explosiveness has improved dramatically. Coaches have taken notice. He's in great shape. You can tell he's been working, said McDermott. I'm proud of what he's done so far. That added strength will help him dominate in contested catches, a crucial skill for the ex-receiver role. It also puts him in a better position to replace Hollins, who was a fan favorite and physical force last year, leading the team in touchdowns and excelling as a downfield blocker. But it's not just about body transformation. Coleman's route running has improved, and the coaching staff believes his football IQ is catching up to his physical gifts. Even GM Brandon Beane pointed out that despite his slow 40-yard dash time at the combine, 4.61 seconds, Coleman's GPS measured in-game speed tells a different story, closer to the mid 4.5s. And for Allen, that's more than enough. The chemistry between the two is building. Allen has publicly praised Coleman's hunger to improve, mentioning long texts from the wideout about how he plans to take the next step. That type of initiative earns trust, and in crunch time, trust is everything. With Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, and new arrivals like Josh Palmer and Elijah Moore also in the mix, Coleman doesn't need to carry the offense. But if he steps up, he could become the nightmare matchup that defenses simply can't ignore. His big frame, improved quickness, and red zone potential make him a dangerous weapon in Joe Brady's offensive system, one that led the NFL in scoring last year. Off the field, Coleman's personality is winning fans too. His honest, funny take on Buffalo's winter weather on the NFLPA report card, and his confident attitude on the 7 p.m. in Brooklyn podcast show a young man embracing the spotlight. And when HBO's Hard Knocks shines a light on the Bills this summer, Coleman's charisma could take center stage. The bottom line for Bills Mafia? There's real reason to believe. A defense bolstered with elite talent, a quarterback playing the best football of his life, and a young receiver ready to leap into stardom. This is a roster that looks built for February. If the front office pulls off the right trade for Epinesa, if Coleman becomes the X-factor in this offense, and if Josh Allen delivers under pressure, Buffalo may finally crash the gates of the Super Bowl. So now we ask you, Bills Mafia, are you ready to witness the rise of Keon Coleman? And if a trade sends AJ Epinesa packing, will it be the final piece or a risky gamble? Because one thing's for sure, the countdown to destiny has already begun in Buffalo. Leave your opinion here. Don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel. But later, I will come back to update you with the latest news from Buffalo Bills.